the Corona Cero post-show. A lot of big talking points from another action-packed day of competition here on the Corona Zero post-show. We'll be breaking down those moments and also looking forward to what we got in store for tomorrow, where we will be wrapping things up and crowning champions. Our last day of the waiting period, we're going to go all the way through to tomorrow, pick the eyes out the best of the conditions. In the meantime, here to talk you through what went down today, Emma Smith and Gig Cilliers. How you guys doing?
Good. It's good to be back with the big boys. And yeah, it's been an exciting day. I feel like full of lots of surprises. It looked like the waves weren't going to be great, but we had some good moments. It's been good.
Swells dialed down a bit, Gigs, but performances, they were still right up there.
Well, it's the first morning. We haven't started at 7:30 sharp, so we had to sit out that little hour. Tours and competition, just letting that tide turn over, and it proved a good call, because as the tide fell out, bowls and opportunities, we've seen some good numbers again come from quarterfinals on both men's and women's sides. So another good day in the bag for the Ballito Pro.
Yeah, Emma, I mean, you've been talking to a lot of our athletes doing interviews after, and everyone's obviously stoked when they're making it through. And today was one of those days where, like, you're really close to a big result. You're sort of on the cusp. For some surfers, the more lower ranked surfers, it's already a result. But I guess as well, it's also been about maybe not celebrating too early and keeping an eye on the fact that there's still plenty of work and more points to be earned.
Yeah, there's definitely more work, and you know, the classic surfing, I think Sally actually summed it up well. She's like, surfing is full of these endorphins where you get, you know, your breakthrough heat, you feel like you're on a run, and then either the very next heat or next event you kind of like, oh no, chasing again. So lots of that.
Yeah, we did see some big performances today. Gigs, this event's been iconic down the years here, really well-established stop on tour. And the crowd today, again, I mean, it's a sunny Sunday. We expect big crowds anyway. South Africans love their sport, but great numbers, great energy down on the beach here once again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cultural highlight for the area. Of course, the Olympic year this year, so no official championship tour stop at Jeffreys Bay. It really pulled all the energy into this zone. We did have the speciality event in J-Bay, and it was fun, but the business side of surfing, it's all dropped in on the focus around Ballito again this year, Paul.
Speaking of business, let's dive into our highlight heat of the day from the men. And we'll have a look at what went down. But it's been a couple of surfers have obviously been amazing throughout the event, but one in particular in conditions where maybe there's a little less energy from the Indian Ocean. It was Nolan Rapoza who found plenty of his own, Emma.
Yeah, Nolan has, as we know, been an absolute standout this whole event. Jackson too, I feel like this heat was one of those heats where it could have gone either way, but Nolan definitely had the upper hand here.
You know, great performances in all the quarterfinals, Paul, but this one we did have it as a pick when we sat yesterday looking at the draw, and both of these goofy footers with season bests thus far with the trip to Ballito. But there was just an extra spice and energy from both of these goofy footers. It was always going to be one of them potentially a finalist.
Yeah, and we've been looking at Nolan in terms of that spark that he's been bringing every day. I think he would have potentially been someone I wouldn't mind if he had kept going, because he's got to come back and do that tomorrow. Of course, we are set up for our semi-finals now, so just 4 surfers left in the men. One of the talking points, of course, from these semis, and we'll have a look at the names there now, but in terms of that established top 10 coming in here, it's only Ian Gouveia who came to South Africa inside that top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Big movement on the Challenger Series leaderboard here. Guys like Edgard Groggia rocketing up. Hirota O'Hara, another steady climb for him. And even Jackson Bunce, Nolan Rapoza, they're both having personal bests here. But to me, the surprise of it all, who is this Winter Vincent guy?
Absolutely, yeah, he's been a real surprise package. He doesn't look surprised himself. He's taking everything in his stride. I mean, you've been interviewing him. He's so casual and kind of dialed back, and every time he makes a heat, you know, it's a big moment. This is a really top event, and he just kind of cruising. I'm not saying he was necessarily expecting it as such, but he's definitely not overawed by the occasion.
No, not at all. He's almost like fiercely casual. I think when you interview him, you kind of like, yes, this is it. This is your, you know, this is going into your best result. And he's just, you know, cool, calm, just answering, just wants to keep surfing once more.
So we're all set up here with semi-finals. The all-Brazilian clash at the top there. Groggia, Gouveia, very impressed with the way he surfed, particularly today, where he just came with that momentum. And as we just mentioned, Rapoza with that spark taking on Winter Vincent. That's going to be a clash of styles and approaches, and that's going to be really fun to see. Of course, tomorrow is the last day of our waiting period. We're also set up and remind ourselves what went down today with the women and our top heat of the day from that. As a pick, it's quite a bit to pick through. We had to finish off the round of 16 actually today before we got into the quarterfinals. We actually pulled the plug on the round yesterday, Gigs, and that wind just whipped up. We were talking about these changing conditions. That big south came yesterday. We actually had to come back this morning and finish off the round of 16 for the women. Yeah,
we had those 2 heats to get through. No surprises though as we teed through to the quarterfinals. And as I say, it's been a big day for both men's and women's side of the draw. Great performances from both of those topics, by the way. I mean, some solid scores. I just think back, and we'll get to the highlights shortly, but we've been getting excellent category scores from both fields.
Well, we had Sally Fitz in the studio for the call, and she was great fun and good insights as well. She's been surfing brilliantly. She featured, actually, in our top heat of the day, women's quarterfinals number 3, and this was Sal looking smooth as ever, super polished.
Yeah, Sally is looking on it. She just wants to keep surfing, but Tessa, I mean, that closeout turn was unreal. That was something of world-class level, and for Tessa, she needed this result, she needed this score, but super close. I mean, Sally as well, going for it at the end there, and this heat really came down to like, I think it was like 0 point something, you know, so hard one.
Well, considering that Tessa Thyssen, you could have argued, was the underdog in the heat there, Paul. 2 third-place finishes for Sally. She was coming here looking for foot in the corner, another, perhaps semi or final this time, just to keep that forward momentum. She spoke about the ups and downs of the emotions. Look, still a 5th place. She'll be remaining in that top 5 picture. So, an exciting heat, but all credit to Tessa Thyssen.
Yeah, the backhand attack from Tessa, the powerful goofy foot, absolutely belted that. Let's have a look at what we're remaining here, and looking at that first semi-final. There's a couple of big names in that. Vahine Fierro, finalist here last year. She went massive with the numbers here this morning, Emma, an 8 and a 9. She was blazing, but you know what? Sophia Medina will be thinking, tomorrow's a different day.
It's true. But Vahine, I mean, she blew me away. I feel like the 2 heats before her, the girls made it because they're keeping busy. She took 10 minutes to get her first wave and then drops an 8 on that wave. But like you said, I mean, Sophia's been absolutely cracking those closeout turns, and it's another day, and she's looking, confident. Yeah, she seemed quite emotional, and she was absolutely stoked to make it this far. I think, she'd be over here tonight. I think she'll just sort of take stock of that and go, I've got this far. That's awesome, but I'm in shot, within reach of a massive, massive result. Everyone obviously is coming into semis will be hoping for a win. Let's speak to our most recently minted semi-finalist. Winter Vincent is standing by for a chat with Mike Frew.
Winter, you through to your best results on the Challenger Series into the semi-finals here at the Ballito Pro, so at least a 3rd place finish. Your best results, you've moved up 48 places to 17th on the Challenger Series with us. Tell us about that heat.
Yeah, well, that's a good jump. My goal coming into the Challenger event wasn't to really do well, it was just to have fun, learn. And definitely learn a lot this event, and because the waves feel exactly like home, so it's good. And yeah, that heat was pretty fun. Justin, good friend of mine, and he was ripping, so even down to the last end, he could have gone me. And yeah, it just felt like being at home.
Winter, we saw you had a board change during the heat. We went and had a look at the board. It didn't seem to be damaged. What was the strategy behind that? And then can you also talk us through this board that you were riding in the end?
Yeah, so I went out on that black board, which is, so my normal board is 6 foot, and that's 5'10.5", so it's a fair bit smaller. And it's good for airs, but on my turns it felt a little skatey because it was so small. And halfway through the heat I was just like, oh, got it on a good score, may as well just try my other board out. So yeah, riding a driver 3, the other board was a driver 3 Mayhem as well. DHD fins, and this board's just an inch bigger, so a bit more hold, and just felt a bit better on my turns, but didn't really do many turns out there.
Well, Winter, you're through to the semi-finals. We really look forward to seeing how you go tomorrow, and of course you've rocketed up the rankings. Back to you guys in the studio.
Yeah, Winter Vincent. Wow, he looks a little bit like one of those guys in films who's like maybe he's quarterback of the football team in high school. He's really popular, but yet he's nice to the kids that get bullied as well. Just an all-round great guy. You getting that vibe? Just
yeah,
me?
I'm getting that vibe. I'm definitely getting that vibe.
What a guy.
Yeah, well, just 18 years of age. It's going to be a success story. You know, speaking of the 2 wins in Sydney for Australians already, Winter Vincent putting his hand up here. Could there be a 3rd win for the Aussie push of 2024.
Yeah, definitely coming into this one with that outsider energy. I tell you, if he keeps performing like this, he's not going to remain an outsider for much longer. I've really enjoyed checking out his charge. Time now to have a look at our top moments of the day. Obviously, we just have rounded out who's going to be surfing in the semis, and some clutch moments coming in the quarters. And just relentless drive, grit, and polish from Ian Gouveia. He surfs so well, Emma.
Yeah, Ian has just been on a roll. He's oozing excitement and stoke, and yeah, he just seems like he's so pumped to be here.
2 quarterfinal appearances from him, and well, he's done better than that here. Isabella Nichols, top seed eliminated. A little bit of a surprise in my opinion. She comes out the top of the leaderboard, care of 2 finals appearances on Australia. Still though, a quarterfinal finish, not the worst that you could have for your trip to Ballito, but still, polish and sound from Isabella Nichols.
Yeah, she came up against something of a force of nature in this woman's same heat. Vahine Fierro dropping crazy numbers. Brilliant on the backhand, Emma.
Yeah, and Vahine's focus is just she wants to rip not only in big barrely waves but in small grindy waves too, and her backhand has just been so on point, getting vertical and yeah, just nailing those closeout turns and keeping calm in a heat, you know, waiting a bit.
Well, not only hucking over the ledge at Chopu, but just clean lines on her backhand. And talking of goofy foot approach and clean lines, Nolan Rapoza on a roll in 2024 here. We spoke of that quarterfinal number 3 against Jackson Bunch being the pick of it, but Nolan Rapoza has just been on fire at this Ballito Pro, Paul.
Yeah, so much spark from Nolan. He's been absolutely incredible. And how about this stuff, though? We talk about progressive surfing and crowd-pleasing maneuvers, full rotation, a massive 9, and look how much it means to Edgard.
Yeah, big punt to the air. Yeah, that one there, a flat 9 from the judges. It just had that extra spring coil. And, well, that was the theme. Some excellent scores coming out of 1 maneuver opportunities today.
Obviously, we've whittled it down now to just 6 more heats remaining. So we need a couple of hours tomorrow. In terms of conditions that we might get, we tend to get that window where we want the tide to go out a bit, but before the wind gets too strong. So we're thinking sometime tomorrow morning?
Yeah, typical of this time of year. It's midwinter on this side of the planet. And, well, it's normally windless to light offshores in the morning. That tide will be a little full in the morning, so expect perhaps a delayed start, Paul, but still some surf to work with through the low tides tomorrow.
I've been asking you guys for names throughout this. Why stop now? Who do you fancy for tomorrow? You first, Gigs. Who are you liking for the win?
On the women's side, I'm going to go Vahine Fierro. She was a finalist last year. It, as we mentioned, was a little bit uncelebrated underneath Bronte's victory. But if you work out the efficiency of Vahine Fierro as an all-round athlete, as mentioned it, from hucking over the edge to winning a CT at Chopes, on the plane, in the beach break, she is for sure going to be a massive name in surfing in the years to come. I'll go Vahine Fierro for this one.
Emma, who are you liking?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm with Gigs on Vahine, and I don't know, I think Winter Vincent's gonna bring some fire to tomorrow, you know, ruffle up some feathers. Yeah, I think Winter.
All this will be decided tomorrow. We'll be crowning champions here at the Ballito Pro, presented by O'Neill. We're going to come back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock call for an 8:30 start, which means there's only one real thing left to do for today. This has been the Corona Zero Post Show. See you at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. WorldSurfLeague.com for an 8:30 start. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll send you out with some highlights.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.